What's up, everyone? Welcome to ZSR again. Twilight Princess is back, as I told you all yesterday. Today I'm not commentating because my voice would be dying in a minute, but that's fine. We have two other commentators today, which I'm really happy about. So without further ado, we'll still have like a slight delay because there's one of our races that has some SOL issues. But we'll still switch over and say hi to the two commentators for today, to Lowly Cry and to Bruggles. What's up, you two?
Hi. Nothing much. How are you?
I mean,
Good, I hope.
yeah, I'm doing good. What about you, Loli?
Yep, just chilling. Excited for the race.
Yep.
Hopefully, will be a good one. With plenty of racers.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I guess hopefully we'll be starting soon.
So yeah, we are still waiting for one racer to figure out his SOL issues, and then we're good to start. So there will be a slight delay here. There's no seed involved, obviously, because this is vanilla. But there is Ace. So he just needs to set his stream, and then we're good to go. Yeah, SL is making fun of Ace right now, so eh. Damsel in Distress seeding race basically means that nobody, that we are basically just, that we're just trying to determine who's getting there and who's getting where in this bracket. So I need to do some magic here. Alright, we got it.
All right.
That's amazing.
Alright, so now we're waiting for the runners to actually ready up, and then we can start. We have a race of 11 people in here, which is great for Twilight Princess. And with that, I actually leave you to Lowly Cran Burgles. Enjoy, everyone.
All
Thank
right.
you, Tress. We're still waiting a couple people, and Yeah, some of these runners that are racing today did their seeding race yesterday, so we won't be seeing everyone's stream.
Mm-hmm. All right, it looks like people are getting ready.
We're waiting on one person.
Fire Yoshi, no, this is SD, the GameCube version. Well, I guess people could also run the Wii version, but I don't believe anyone's doing that for this race.
It looks like we're off. So yeah, first here in the speed run, we're gonna do a pretty big skip. If everything's synced up.
All right. Yeah, so the run starts out with a luck-based trick, sort of. We get a rock off to the side, right in this first area, and put it up against the gate. And then we use that rock to clip into the gate so we can get on the other side and skip some of the early game stuff.
So yeah, we clip through this gate because this is closest to where you can void out. And when you void out to do a trick called back in time. And basically what this does is it makes you spawn on the title screen and you can move around. So as you see, Adam and Fina's gotten it. And they void out there so they get control over Link and then can from there say warp. Which will put him back in Farron Woods. And this lets us skip basically all of Orden and messes up a lot of states in this game.
Yeah, I believe it puts us in a state where Epona is tamed, which is going to allow us to do something a little bit later.
Taka finally getting it. Jack was still struggling a little bit with it. And Adam and Fina's gotten their lanterns. So currently in the game, we're in the stage of rescuing Tallow, who chased the monkey. So this is very late into Orden.
Mm-hmm.
There, Jack finally got back in time. And did he mess up?
Yeah, I think he...
Oh no.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Gate clip is just kind of annoying in general, just because it can sort of be consistent, but not really. So it just took him a while to get it in the first place, which is kind of annoying.
And yeah, then back in time is a frame perfect trick as well, so
Yeah.
it's not easy to get.
A consistent setup. It can be a little finicky, especially with like the GameCube D-pad. Like it should be consistent, but I noticed before Jaquade kind of got unlucky and it pulled up the item wheel instead of the map.
Also, yeah, one thing I forgot to say about Back in Time is that it actually gives us the Iron Sword. The Hero Sword, I believe it's called, actually. And the Highland Shield. And the Hero's Tunic. Of course.
So Jaquaid is doing something a little bit different here. So we do Back in Time later in the run to set up for a trick, but Jaquaid is doing the setup now. So I guess I can explain it now or later, but well, I guess now. So it sets up, it gives us boss flags, which is going to give us 4 monkeys later in Forest Temple. So we don't have to actually go through the dungeon normally, and it saves quite a bit of time. So it's a little bit faster to do it later, but it's much safer to do what Jaquaid just did. So
Yeah, so the other runners are gonna do it in like around 20 minutes from now.
Mhm.
And here Adam is coming up on the best part of Twilight Princess. I think every runner agrees.
Of course, goats.
Thankfully, in SD, you only have to do one of the goats, goat hoarding sessions, because these goats are really, really not friendly with us. They
Fortunately, you could talk.
know you.
Okay. Well, fortunately, in SD as well, controlling Epona is a bit easier. That can also make goats a little bit better in SD.
Yeah, definitely. In HD, they gave Epona like more angles to walk on or something like that, so it made it so much worse to control. What's Goat's world record?
I'm not sure what the human record is. I know the task is like 14 seconds.
Yeah, it has like 14
I
seconds.
think the human record might be 15,
16, 15, something like that.
which
I
is
believe.
absolutely ridiculous.
And a good go time is around, well, 18 to 20 seconds is pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, attack got really trolled there. And if you notice on Adam's screen, he's currently talking to Bo. And this is one of the things that Back in Time messes up. It just lets you get the iron boots at the start of the game.
Yep. So yeah, like I said before, it puts the game in a state where Epona is tamed, which is the trigger for being able to wrestle Bo for the iron boots, which is why we can do this now.
Yeah, Bo's just full RNG, so it's also one of these things that is pretty good in SD, that you have the 2 biggest RNG factors at the start of the run.
Yeah, which is really nice for doing attempts, but it can be kind of annoying for a race, just because it can sort of like desync players really quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And Jack just made it to the goats. And Taka starting second round of fighting Bo, wrestling Bo.
Something else about the goats that's really annoying is the sensitivity of them sort of varies. Like sometimes you can be like really, really close to them and they're just not moving, and sometimes you're like kind of far away and they just book it away from you, which can be kind of annoying.
Yeah, they really just don't want to cooperate with you. They do everything in their power to make you lose time. So, Adam is currently entering the sewers.
It's not really that many interesting things in the sewers. It's pretty vanilla. One thing you'll notice is on the back of Wolflink, you see the sword and the shield, because there was never a flag set to not show those at this point in the game, and we have a sword and shield, so they just kind of appear on Wolflink. And Midna kind of just clips into them.
So yeah, here in the sewers, we're gonna see the first usage of a technique called dash canceling. Basically, what this is that when you dash, there's, I think it's 10 frames where you can cancel it, and you will get your dash back. Like, it won't be a cooldown on it if you cancel it within the first 10 frames.
Alright, so Jaquaid finally got Iron Boots. Hopefully he can catch up with such an unfortunate start.
Alright, so what Fina just did there, if you notice, he kind of jumped on the side of the stairs, or the broken stairs. And basically what that is, why he does that is to skip a text. And it saves around a second to skip. And every time you call Minna and she says something before a jump, there's one frame where you can jump to her earlier to save a small amount of time.
So Fino, you might have seen Adam. After he left the sewers, he had to talk to Midna for a couple seconds. But Fino actually, there's one frame where you can do a jump attack and skip the text trigger. And Fino was able to get that. All right, coming up here, Adam is going to have to do a pretty difficult trick called Sword and Shield Skip. So normally in Ordon, we have to go and get the Ordon Sword and the Wooden Shield. But because of Back in Time, Ordon, we can't even actually go back and get them, even if we wanted to. It's still faster to skip them, but whether or not we want to, we have to in this case. So we have to lure Hugo, the Bulblin, all the way over to the Twilight trigger and use him to jump over the trigger where Midna tells us to go back and get the sword and shield and land in the trigger that takes us into the Twilight.
Yes, this trick is pretty precise. There's some specific angles they need to get for Hugo's. I guess it's knockback, like, well, whatever he does when you attack him.
Chris, no, there haven't been. The run has been mostly the same for a very long time.
Yeah, Adam just got Sword Shield skip.
And so did Fino.
Okay, so Adam and Fino got the charge attack right there from Midna. It will be used later to do a very big skip. Oh, and Taka unfortunately not getting Sword and Shield skip first try.
That's unfortunate. I think it loses a little over a minute to fail.
Yeah. And you might have noticed that Adam and Fino are not collecting any of the bugs, and they didn't even get the vessel. And that is because we really don't need to do this Twilight. I think there are some runners that might be clearing the Twilight.
Yeah, I believe Jaquade and maybe Taka. So there are a lot of different routes for Twilight Princess any percent. So you have a lot of choices when getting into this game, and some people opt to do different routes because different routes have different tricks in the early game. So that can influence like what people might think is hard or easy.
Taka getting Sword and Shield skip right there. Jack was almost caught up to Taka. Ow. Ooh, a little bit too early.
Jaquade also failed. Okay, so I guess what you saw Adam and Fino both just do is using Midna's charge attack. They attack the Shadow Beast in such a way that it sends them really high up, and they can use that to get out of bounds. And they do that by releasing the charge attack when the Shadow Beast's arm is at its highest point. So that gives us a lot of height. And they're going to head off to get the Master Sword, which is a really, really, really useful item because it lets us transform whenever we want and warp whenever we want. We can even transform it in the Twilights, which is going to allow for some other sequence breaks later.
Yep. So yeah, in Sacred Grove, it's just Skull Kid chase until, well, basically until he gets to the Master Sword. There's not really much you can do to make it faster.
Alright, so it looks like Taka is going to be doing Bite Route. Bite stands for Back in Time Equipped, which we can explain a little more when we get there, but essentially, Jaquaid and Taka are going to be getting to Kakariko Village in a bit of a different way than Adam and Fino.
Yeah, they're talking to the cutscene skip. If you let go of your charge attack before, well, if you unsense before you kill the bugs in that room, you'll skip a small cutscene of a Koro talking about the bugs just disappearing. And Adam and Fino are at the end of the Skull Kid chase, and here they just need to wait until Skull Kid blows his horn or trumpet before they can attack him.
Alright, so Jaquaid finally got Sword and Shield skip. Yeah, like we said before, it's a pretty difficult and precise trick. Takes a lot of practice, so. And you might notice Taka is getting some tiers, but skipping others. And that's because once he gets the Master Sword, he will warp back to South Farron, and he'll be going through the same areas over again. And so by just killing the bugs, but skipping the tiers, it saves a little bit of time, because in SD we have to wait for the tier to fully materialize, whereas in HD you can just collect them. So it's faster to just kill the bugs and then come back instead of waiting.
Yeah, Adam and Fino just doing this puzzle. There's real not much to say about it.
Taka's getting some pretty bad luck there. So to do early Master Sword, we need the Shadow Beast to do a specific swing. So Taka got the wrong swing twice in a row, which is pretty unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate how much RNG there is in the beginning of Twilight Princess in general. Like I said before, with Bow, it can just like start desyncing runners like really quickly. Because people just get really bad RNG.
So in this game, you can't actually kill the Shadow Beast with quick spins as Wolf Link. So you have to You have to use a minute attack as Wolflink. Taka finally getting EMS, early Master Sword. And Void's out. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. So he'll have to do the trick again.
And we now got Torp on Jacquet's screen.
And Ace where Fino was. So Ace is, I believe, doing the same route as Adam and Fino. And it looks like he's doing pretty well. Torp, I believe, is also doing the same route, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare against each other. So as we can see, Taka there. Taka's going back through Farron and collecting all the tiers that he didn't get before.
Yeah, Taka died, and so sadly dying here puts it back at the spawn, like at start of Farron Woods. So it's really, really bad to die. It loses you a lot of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, here Adam is gonna turn into human and swing the lantern. Normally you have to get help from the monkey to pass through this mist. But since it's Twilight, the monkey's not here, and we can just actually use the lantern instead.
The fog is actually like really finicky. It's a little unclear, like where where it starts and where it ends. So you just kind of have to know, like how far you can go between each swing of the lantern. So coming up here is Forest Temple Back in Time. So we can do a jump slash to get out of bounds behind where the loading zone is to leave. And we can, behind the loading zone, there's a void. So we can do Back in Time. And yeah.
And I'm getting it first try, and Ace also getting it first try.
Yeah. That's really good.
So yeah, here they're getting the boss flags, and basically they soft reset and then skip a cutscene there of opponent running into King Goblin. And that sets our boss flags to a very high number.
Yeah, so now in a couple rooms of Forest Temple, you will see that a bunch of monkeys will just appear out of nowhere. And it looks kind of funny.
And yeah, so here they take the Big Bubba's nuts to throw on the spiders, because they skipped the slingshot earlier. There's no good way to really get past them without taking the nuts.
Yeah, sometimes if you get really lucky, you can make it past them, but it's a little risky. It's better to just kill them.
Guys, there's a small issue with the stream, so I'm quickly gonna refresh all 4 of them, so don't be surprised. There will be a little jump. And these should now sync up again, I hope.
Yeah, as you see on Adam's screen, there are suddenly a few monkeys behind him. That's because of the boss flags, as Bridal said earlier. So yeah, that lets us skip through basically all of Forest Temple. And in this game, we actually don't need to finish Forest Temple. Because it doesn't give us anything that is necessary to beat the game.
Besides the boomerang. Well, yeah, we don't have to beat it. We do have to go to it.
Yeah.
Beating Forest Temple can give you a bit of an easier route, but it wastes too much time. So I think it would lose like 10 minutes or so. So it's just not really worth it.
Yeah. And yeah, the boomerang is the most broken item in this game, I'd say. It allows us to skip a lot of stuff.
So coming up here, I mean, right after Boomerang, there's sort of a gauntlet of tricks. There's about a 20-minute segment with just a bunch of hard stuff in it. So hopefully it goes well for our runners.
Adam and the Ace is pretty much synced up at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so an upcoming trick here is the Forest Escape. And this is the first real usage of the Gale Boomerang. Basically, there is a glitch with the targeting system in this game that lets us jump very far. And when the Gale Boomerang happens to be over a void or a platform higher up the link, you'll get insane speed and jump very far. So right there, the boomerang was out of bounds and it made Link jump over the trigger of Minna saying that you need to beat the Twilight.
And that's pretty much the whole reason that we don't need to clear the Twilight or beat Forest Temple, because we can just, use the boomerang and escape.
Yeah, Adam and Ace doing a thing called Postman Skip. I know everyone loves the Postman, but he sadly loses us a little bit of time when we have to talk to him. So yeah,
It's
it's
me
a bit
again,
sad.
Sorry, it's me again. For whatever reason, Ace's stream is really not stable, so I need to swap him out again right now, because he's actually making the others bug out a bit.
Alright.
So we'll
So
actually swap in...
I guess we're back to Fino.
No, sorry, that was not my intention. We'll actually swap in Truly Man for now, because we didn't have him yet, so he's quite far
Alright.
behind, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It looks like Truly None is also doing Fight Route.
And he's also doing a safety save because if you accidentally kill all of the shadow beasts in the area where you do early Master Sword, the run is basically dead. I mean, I guess theoretically you could do something similar to the HD route, but you're going to lose a lot of time. So
Yeah, I
it's
completely forgot to talk about the gorge here. So, when killing the shadow beast here, there's the 1 frame timing where you can void out, do a jump attack and void out to respawn it back in this area. And Adam got his, and this saves roughly a minute of time. And right there, he did a thing called the rupee roll. And simple explanation, he gets a yellow rupee and jumps up on the fence at the same time as the rupee is on the fence, which will stop him from falling down for a little bit. And with that, he can then roll over the fence to get over it and jump over the gorge without having the bridge.
Yeah, and that whole trick with rupee roll. That's what allows us to skip beating the forest temple. Because normally you'd have to warp the bridge, which you can only do after beating forest temple. But with that trick, we don't have to do that. And also having the master sword, because if we didn't have the master sword, then we couldn't transform and actually do the trick. So
yeah, Adam got a portal here, then he's turning around. And this is because he wants to go back into the forest warp because that allows him to get the map warping.
yeah, so map warping is very important because it's going to allow us to do some sequence breaks later. Technically, you don't need it, but not needing it is task only. Not getting it is task only. So, and if you miss Gorge Void, which was the 1 frame jump attack, it's actually it loses a minute because instead of just getting the Kakariko warp and then once you're done doing some other stuff, just warping back to Kakariko, you have to warp back to South Farron and then run all the way back to Kakariko, which loses about a minute.
Yeah, and Torp also just got the Gorge Void.
Yes, which is
Yeah, Adam warped back to South Farron Woods and is gonna do the forest escape again. This time he's not gonna go to Kakariko or Eldon, he's gonna go towards Lanairu actually. Torp failing the rupee roll and having bad RNG with the dig rupee as a backup. So to get the trick, you have to get the rupee text for it to work, because otherwise Link will just fall off the fence. But with the rupee text, he'll stay there for a little bit, and you can roll over that then. And the backup rupee is an RNG based one, so you can have a green rupee, a blue rupee, and a yellow rupee. And he got a yellow rupee from that, which is the one that you mainly use for the trick in general. And Adam right there just bonked through a gate and bonked the gate and jumped through it. This does go to Lanairu earlier.
Yeah, so in this game, gates don't really exist because basically there's a seam in the middle of, I believe, every gate. And if you can bonk it to have it move, then you can sort of open up that seam a little bit, and it's just enough for us to clip through.
Yep. And Adam here is going to do the pillar clip. And he's not doing a setup, he's doing setupless. So, normally to enter Lake Bed, you need the sword armor and water bombs and a lot of different stuff. But because we have iron boots, we can sink into the water and by clipping out of bounds enter Lake Bed earlier.
Yeah, so that's another thing that not only back in time helps us with because it lets us get the iron boots and the master sword, which lets us transform into human.
And to get the save warp that Adam's doing right here, if you wouldn't have the Master Sword, you would just spawn back at the same place you were in. But because you have the Master Sword, you get put at the start of like in the actual place where you can stand.
Yeah, which is really good because we don't in the route that Adam's doing, he doesn't get the Zora armor, and even if he was getting it, he doesn't have it at this point. So it's really important.
Adam is currently first place, and there are in total 11 runners this race. 12? 11? Oh, there are 12.
Hmm.
Yeah, Adam using more of the Guild Boomerang to skip actually having bombs here. And he's gonna do a double long jump attack, as this is called. And
Yeah, so this trick is similar to what they did to escape the forest early. It works in the same way, just if the boomerang is over a void, or in this case, over something that is over ground that is higher than Link, then you'll get a ton of speed towards it, and we can use that to get over to this area where Uku is, which is important because we would have no other way of leaving the dungeon otherwise.
yeah,
This
and we go to Lake Bed early just to get a claw shot. Taka just got the Guild Boomerang. Truly Nana's got the Master Sword. Also, because we got the boss fights earlier, if you remember, we don't need to enter the normal way through this to this mini boss fight. We can just look up into the roof and the ceiling, and Degato would just spawn. And for some reason, the Degato is kind of weird. When you see up, he will just fall down. And we can one cycle him by landing 10 sword hits with the Master Sword. With the Ordnance Sword, it will take 20 hits to kill the Decatoad.
Yeah, and so it's actually a lot more difficult than it looks, because you can't just mash the B button or else you would do a combo, and so we have to do 10 sword slashes. There are different ways you can break it up. You can break it up into 1, 2, or 3. I believe Adam broke it up into 2, but basically it just changes which frames you have to press the B button on, and there's a pretty small window for each B press. So
Yeah, I think you have like 7 frames to do it.
I believe it's
So
3 frames, and you do 1 at a time, 7 in between each slash if you do 2 at a time, and I'm not sure if you do 3 at a time.
yeah.
And this game runs at 30 FPS to give you a reference point. So, after getting the claw shot, Adam save warps and leaves the dungeon. The save warp is not only to put us back at the beginning, but we also can't use Uku in a mini-boss room. And now we are going to fight the Kargrok. And I believe Adam is... Yes. So, here we can do a trick to kill the... Because we have the Master Sword, we can transform into human, and instead of, like, knocking the Bulblin off of the Kargrok and then attacking him once he's down, it's a lot faster to sink into the water and lure the Kargrok into the water, which will make the Bulblin touch the water, which will kill it instantly, which saves a lot of time. Saves like... Well, actually not a lot. It saves like 8 seconds or something, but it's faster, and it's pretty easy, so...
And here in the Kargrok fight here, Adam's gonna clip out of bounds to save a little bit of time.
I believe this also saves like 8 seconds or so.
I've heard like 6 or 7 seconds, so yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of time, but it's also a pretty easy trick in general, so... Which is really nice, because if you fail it, you lose like 40 seconds, so...
Alrighty, I suggest we do another switch here. For now, Taka's route will be different, so we'll keep him for a bit. But we'll swap out Torp and Trillinan, and we'll try Optimus Prime Mini and Pitske, who we didn't have yet. So let's go.
Alright, so you may have noticed Taka cleared the Twilight. And that's because, so as you saw before when Adam went to Kakariko, Taka isn't going to go to Kakariko first. He's going to do something a little different, and this is to avoid the frame perfect A press. So the route Taka's doing is, I believe it's like 15 to 30 seconds slower than getting the A press, but it's 30 seconds faster than missing it. So it's a little bit of a safer route. And he's going to be going to Lineru first.
It's not getting the Gorge Void, so he'll have to come back later to do the Rupee roll. So I assume he's doing that.
So now that Adam has gotten the warp portal in Zora's domain, he is going to warp back to Eldin, because there's actually not really anything else you can do in Lineru until you clear Eldin Twilight. So it kind of works out that we can get the warp portal and then immediately go clear Eldin Twilight. And coming up here in the graveyard, so normally you have to go into the sanctuary, and it plays a cutscene, and you have to open up the cellar to get into the bottom, which is all very slow. So what Adam's going to do is transform, and you can actually just side hop, and you'll clip right into the well here, which will take us directly to the basement. And I guess unfortunately, Taka failed pillar clip. So I believe failing it loses about like a minute and a half, something like that. It's a lot of time. It's really bad to fail, so hopefully he can bring it back.
So another screen right here, he's gonna manipulate the bug to come into that hole by targeting or something. I really don't understand it, but it works.
Yeah, just something to do with the position, and targeting the bug causes it to just come down to you. So unfortunately, Optimus Prime missed the one cycle, so he'll just have to pretty much do the same thing again. It only loses like 15 seconds if you do everything else really fast.
I do not know if Fina got void.
I think, well, if you're in the race channel, you can just ask him. Ooh, that's unfortunate. All right, so Adam was trying to do a trick called Wolf Bombhouse Skip. So basically, normally the bug will go into the house, the bomb house, and you have to go inside and light the house on fire, and it blows up, and there's a cutscene and everything. But we can actually do a trick to skip all that. So before he was trying to do it as Wolf, which is much more precise, and saves a little bit of time to do it as Wolf, but it's much easier as human. So we can do a jump attack, a long jump attack with the boomerang to get over to the side here, and we can actually kill the bug before it goes into the house, which for whatever reason just makes the house sort of go away. Some of the collision is still there, but we can just kind of go in and collect the tears, which is a lot faster. It saves like 30 seconds or so, but he failed it once, so he shouldn't. I don't believe he's saving any time from it. Yeah, there's not really much else to say for the rest of Elden Twilight. It's pretty standard. We don't howl at the stone or really do anything special, just killing the tears, killing the bugs. And actually, something that I forgot to mention earlier. So Optimus Prime is coming up on this Midna jump here, and you'll notice that Midna said some stuff before the jump, but that's actually the one place in the game where you can't jump. There's not a frame right after the text where you can jump. So just a little fun fact. Alright, so now Adam has cleared the Twilight. And he is now going to warp to Death Mountain, and he's going to get the rock, that the big rock that falls from the sky, so he can unfreeze Zora's domain and then get access to clearing the Nehru Twilight, which is something that we do have to do. And the only reason that we clear, Elden Twilight is just because we have to get the rock. There's no other reason. If we could somehow clear Linearu without it, then we would.
Wait, Lodi had to leave for a bit, so I guess I'll join you for a while. Regals.
Alright. Well, I guess I also forgot to mention. So what Adam did, you might have noticed he jumped into the water after warping the rock and sunk under the grating or whatever it is. And he actually does that to skip a cutscene. So normally Rutella will show up and tell you like, my son is dying, please save him. And Adam doesn't want to save him, so he's not going to do that. He doesn't even care about Rutella, so he just skips the cutscene. All right, so Adam has gotten 2 of the tiers. One that's just right on the way, and the other's a little bit out of the way. And he doesn't get the other 2 in Lake Hylia because those are faster to get later. So for now, he warped to Zora's domain. And once again, he has to do the cutscene skip by jumping into the water. And you may notice Taka is getting the ending blow right now, which the other runners didn't do because they didn't clear Fair and Twilight. So they're actually going to get those later. But for now, but Taka can get it now, which is part of the reason that the route he's doing doesn't lose as much time, because the other runners are going to have to get it later, whereas he can just pick it up right now on the way. So right now Adam is getting the lily pad bugs, which they can be kind of annoying because it's just kind of RNG, whether they are nice to you or not. They kind of just fly around randomly. You also may notice that the runners are picking up spare rupees along the way. And that's because later we need to get to City in the Sky, and it costs 300 rupees to fix the cannon. So they need to fill up their wallets. Alright, so now Taka is doing the main difference on his route. So he's doing something similar to what he did to get the monkeys to appear. It's called Back in Time Equipped. And this time he's actually going to fight King Bulblin, because after you defeat King Bulblin 1, it will put you in Kakariko. So it just worked out that with the other changes to the route, it's not that much slower than what Adam did.
There's actually a timing ranking on ZSR that shows the differences for all the different routes. So the bite route, that if Taka's doing the bite route without Zora armor, it's only 5 seconds slower than getting the void. If he does it with Zora armor, it's like 18 seconds. If you do Gorge, Epona Slit over the Gorge, that is. So. And yes, my voice is better, Lou.
Yeah. My personal, the thing that I don't really like that much about doing bite route is just King Bulblin. His movement is sort of RNG.
Yep.
Like a really good fight, you'd only lose like 5 seconds. A lot of the time you can lose some more just because you get bad RNG. But it's usually not too bad. It's definitely a safer route. And there's a strat you can do with the claw shot that actually makes the fight consistent. Although it does lose a little bit more time.
Ooh, and Pits get ice. I guess it's time for another switch here, by the way. So, yeah, why not try Fino and Ace again. Let's see how they are doing.
Yeah, it looks like they're all still pretty close. Ace said that he failed Pillar Clip, which definitely lost him quite a bit of time. Put him behind Adam by a good amount, but they're still pretty close, I would say. Alright, so now Adam is going back to get the other tiers. He's going to get this one tier, and then he's going to get the ones on the flight with the card rock. And after he gets the tiers with the card rock, he's actually going to void out, which is going to put him right next to the last tier in Lake Hylia. So it's a lot faster than swimming all the way over there when we can just get it along the way. Squeaky, no. This is just a any % race.
Yeah, there's no randomized elements involved. This is just plainly vanilla Twilight Princess any %. There is a Twilight Princess randomizer in the works that has not been really in active development for quite a while. But there's like a base for it that actually does works somewhat. But there has not been work for half a year or something. There's another randomizer that just randomizes the loading zones that has been around for a long time, but this is HD only, so there's a beta quest for TPHD.
Well, Tresco, I think it's a little bold to say that there are no randomized elements.
Well,
but yeah, no, there's no. It's just the vanilla game.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, there's basically like RNG on every single split except for like 1 or 2. So
let me think.
You know.
There's actually one split without any RNG.
MDH.
MDH is one. What else?
Maybe the last split with Ganon.
I mean, that depends if you split for Zelda or not. There's also Horseback. Horseback's RNG. There's not really any RNG in Palace of Twilight, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, having so much RNG is one of the things that makes this game really, really rough to grind. Because you can just get terrible, terrible luck, and it just sort of can screw you over. And it's really unfortunate.
Actually, I need to swap out Fino again, because for whatever reason, his stream is just not cooperating today. I'm not really sure what the issue is. My mate Dragonbane is already investigating it, but his stream is just giving us so many problems with like syncing that we're not entirely sure what's causing it. We're already looking into it though. That might be fixed by the end of the race, but right now I just cannot properly show Fino without it causing some issues. So we are swapping in Jacquade instead for now.
Alright, so there you can see Jacquade did the same thing that you saw before with Adam. He just jumps into the water to skip the Rutella cutscene. So right now, Adam and Ace, they are going to go get bombs because they are not going to get the Zora armor. And if you don't get the Zora armor, then you need to get bombs because bombs having water bombs actually allows you to refill your air underwater. And so the first thing they need to do to get a permanent bomb bag is steal a bomb bag from Izza. But first, they have to howl at the stone because, like I mentioned before, so Taka got the ending blow much earlier because he cleared the Twilight, the Farron Twilight. But because Ace and Adam didn't, they have to howl at the stone to make the Golden Wolf appear somewhere else where they can get the hidden skill. And the way the hidden skills work is just, it doesn't matter where the wolf is. He will always give them to you in the same order. So the first one will always be the ending blow. The second one will always be the shield bash. Third one, the backslice, so on and so forth. So they just have to make him appear somewhere else.
Alright, so, sorry that I'm not really talking much because we are trying to figure out the issues in the background. But, right now you see Adam dropping in a pool when it wasn't the intention. He's actually dropping some bombs now, because he needs to empty out his bomb bag. So there is a faster method to do this, where you actually use the claw shot to quickly drop the bombs, but it's stupid hard, so you just drop the bombs this way. And you do this to get these water bombs that Adam got just here. So there's one mechanic in Twilight Princess that actually switches the content of bomb chests to the bombs that you already have if your bomb bag is not empty. So we need to empty it first to actually make these be water bombs, because these water bombs will be needed now, as this bomb bag that we just now have is only temporary. It will get lost and just vanish if you save for it, so return to the title screen, reset the game, or touch a blue warp after a dungeon. So this means we actually need to get a permanent bomb bag, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, because, you know, Adam is never actually going to get the Zora armor, so he does need to actually keep a bomb bag with water bombs for the whole game, for a later segment. So right here, he is going to do a glitch called Rocket Link, where and you force on equip the iron boots, so you start swimming with it, and then as soon as if you drop it really quickly, then the game will shoot you up to the surface. And if you wait a little bit longer before dropping it, then it will actually just refill your air, which will be useful for something coming up in maybe like 20 minutes ish, probably less. 10 if we're lucky. Yeah, if you get Zora armor, you actually don't need to get a bomb bag at all. which it loses some time to not have a bomb bag, but for some strats, but it's much slower to get it. So we just skip it entirely. We used to have to get the bomb bag to get Zora armor anyways, which made that a lot slower, but a new discovery quite a while ago at this point fixed that issue for us. So Zora armor is now, getting Zora armor is now a viable route. Also, I forgot to mention at the start of, as soon as Adam and Ace entered Snow Peak, they did a glitch called Map Glitch, which is done by calling Midna and pulling up the map on the same frame. And then they warp away, and Midna will interrupt the warp. And as soon as you warp away, the first thing that the game does is remove all the loading zones. And but then by Midna canceling it, then we can just run around an area with no loading zones. And this is very important because earlier in the run, at the very start, we did back in time, which means we never get the fishing rod, which means we can't get the reek fish scent. So you can't really go through Snow Peak normally, but by doing Map Glitch, we just remove the void loading zone completely and can just go right up. And the reason that we howl at the top there, but then leave instantly, is because if we tried to dig with all the loading zones disabled, the game would just soft lock because it can't put us anywhere. So what Adam just did right there is he did a long jump attack into the void. And the jump attack actually, because he did a long jump attack, it actually put him so far forward that the game thought that he should spawn up next to the Yeti, next to Yeto. And that just lets us skip the Shadow Beast fight, which saves quite a bit of time. I think it's like 30 seconds to a minute, which I guess with no lag, it would be less. But the game just gets really, really, really laggy with all the keys flying around and the Shadow Beast, and it's just very slow to kill them. But if you skip the fight, then you have to do the snowboarding with all the fog, which makes it quite a bit harder, but these runners have a lot of experience and have visual cues and sort of know where to go.
All right, so there is again some lag. Yesterday was perfectly fine. Today is just weird. I don't know why, but we'll actually take out Taka for now, Taka and Ace for now, because Taka's route is just pretty much coming together with what Adam does now, and we'll give Fino another shot, and Torb. Let's see what they do.
Alright, so Torp right there doing the same thing that Adam did before Rocket Link. Ooh, looks like Fino's getting trolled a bit by the Keese there. But looks like he was able to get the jump attack. So Adam is going through a sort of weird route through Snow Peak. If you saw at the start, he did a long jump attack across a void, then claw shotted through the floor. Now he's over here and he did some LJAs to get the key. And you may also notice he's dropping bombs everywhere. Well, right here he's going to do a glitch called floor clip, just clip through the floor. And you may notice he's dropping bombs, and that's just because, like before, we said he needed a permanent bomb bag with water bombs in it, and so he needs to drop all of the regular bombs so he can get water bombs from a chest in lake bed. So right now, he's right here. He's going to do a glitch with the Freezard to clip out of bounds, and hopefully he can get it without dying. Ooh, that's unfortunate. But he is trying to do a clip out of bounds with the Freezard and open the door to the mini boss backwards. And you may notice once he gets the clip that he won't actually just go into the mini boss room. And that's because in Twilight Princess, all of the loading zones are tied to the doors. Which is also why you can't do a boss key skip for most of the dungeons, because the loading zone is tied to the door, so you have to actually open the door. And with that, he is now in the mini boss room and he's going to get the ball and chain, which is very important for something later in the run.
And I gotta say, I hate this boss fight, this mini boss, Darkhammer, with a passion. This fight is just so stupid. Like, the bomb strat looks simple, but it's actually more precise than you'd think. And if you don't get it, the normal strat for this boss is just terrible. And we had a phone call on Virgo's side, so he was stuck with me. But yeah, Adam is now getting the ball and chain. This ball and chain actually is not that useful. We do use it in several points and several moments in the run, but that's just due to the fact that we have it and need to get it anyways. There's only one single point in the run where we actually need to get it, and that's the Zand fight at the end. It has a Blizzetta ice face, and that's the only actual fight where this is the only weapon to do damage. Because if this wasn't the case, we could just skip the entire section. We would not have to go up Snow Peak. We would not have to do snowboarding, and would not have to do anything in Snow Peak dungeon or ruins. What we do, though, since we have to go here anyways, is pick up 200 rupees. We need 300 over the course of the entire run. And there's 2 convenient 100 rupees, orange rupees in this case, that we can grab within just like 30 seconds, which is great. Or like 45. And now that we got these rupees, Adam used Uku to go back to Lakebed Temple. And this will now be the second part of Lakebed Temple. So he just collected water bombs. That's what we saw earlier. And then he used them to actually get another bomb pack. This is now empty, and now that this bomb pack, which is a permanent one, is empty, he can open this chest right here and grab another 10 pack of water bombs. These 10 water bombs are the only bombs we'll need for the rest of the run, and we'll use every single one of them if it goes perfectly. 2 of them will be used right now for what might be one of the biggest roadblocks if you learn Twilight Princess, which is in this route, which is the Morphle fight without the Zora armor. First, Adam, however, does the first and only boss key skip of the game, and fails the setup, sadly, so needs to set it up again.
Sorry to interject, I just want to say sorry about the phone call.
Don't worry about it. So yeah, what Adam wants to do, oh no!
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's a Vine clip, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the old strat of doing the, yeah, he got it. No! Oh, Adam, that was actually terrible on the timing. So this is the old way of doing the boss key skip in Lakebed Temple, which is actually using a bomb to clip behind these vines, then use Iron Boots to sink below, and then swim into the loading zone. And of course, there is like a little bubble of no water zone there where you can stand. We can actually use this to get pushed up and then fall into the loading zone. It's a little weird. The other thread is faster and actually not harder. But yeah, since Adam kind of overshot, he needed to do it. And now we sink down to Morpheal, and I guess that's something I leave to Bruggles to explain to you all.
Alright, so Morpheal is very, very difficult without the Zora armor. Well, it's not really that difficult, but it definitely takes a lot of practice because we don't have the Zora armor, so we can't breathe underwater. So Adam is going to have to use water bombs to refill his air. So if you remember before, he did Rocket Link to get up to the surface, and refilling your air with water bombs works in a similar way, it just doesn't shoot you up to the top. And so he's going to use water bombs to refill his air. So during this cutscene, where Morpheal is swimming up out of the ground, if he pulls a water bomb and just doesn't touch the control stick at all, he will float up during the cutscene, which is very, very useful because it's going to allow him to get to Morpheal a lot easier, which is very important when you have limited air. So yeah, hopefully it goes well. Morpheal sort of swims around randomly, which can make it very, very difficult, and it can cause you to waste a lot of water bombs.
Adam was thinking about the one bomb there.
Yeah, looks like he's not going to go for it. You can kill Morpheal with only using one water bomb and not refilling your air, but it's very, very risky, and it requires basically perfect RNG. And it's just not really worth it, especially in a race setting. And if you force and equip Iron Boots, you will actually immediately detach from Morpheal. And that was a very, very good fight from Adam. You will immediately detach from Morpheal, and you can quickly use the Claw Shot to re-grab, which is very, very useful for us if we don't have the Zora armor.
Yep, else we'd need a third bomb for sure. If that wasn't a thing.
And I believe, actually, if everything goes well, you're left with 2 bombs left at the end. But unfortunately, Adam had to use 2 to clip out of bounds because he messed up the setup, the bridge clip setup.
Actually, if you use all the bombs perfectly, including using like 2 to actually distract the Moldorms in 4.1 skip, you're actually out of bombs at the end. So we perfectly use all bombs. In this case, Adam will probably skip the one bomb that we use to kill the Stealth Force in Arvidus Grounds, and we'll just use the ball and chain, and probably not use another bomb elsewhere.
Yeah, I forgot about post skip. Post skip actually gets very annoying when you do Zora armor routes because you don't have bombs to work with, so you can't kill the Moldorms. And they can just kind of mess up the trick, and it's very annoying. So it looks like Sophina's doing Morpheal, Torp just got the water bombs, and Jaquade is going to Snow Peak.
Actually, we're gonna swap in Taka. Did Taka get the...
Taka's doing Bite ZA.
Oh, okay, he's doing Bite ZA, so we're actually swapping him in, because he's currently doing Wagon Escape. I expected this. So he actually went for a different route, and decided to actually go do the Wagon Escort, which is the one side quest you need to do to actually get the Zora armor. And what he basically does here, he's not really taking care of the wagon, he's just going to that one part. Wait, did he mess it up? No, he's Wait, what? What?
I think he messed up the killing the Bulblins.
No, the
and
wagon
so
is standing... The wagon is actually standing right in front of the gorge.
Yeah, that happens normally.
He didn't mess it up. But I'm not sure what he's doing. Oh, there was actually one next to it.
Yeah, the Bulblin goes next to it if you don't kill the Bulblins normally. If you don't kill them correctly. So Taka is doing a bit of a safer strat. So it is possible to do a trick called an Epona slide to get over the gorge. And that is, if you do that, then it's not much slower to get the Zora armor. It's like 20 seconds or so than getting bombs.
That was sketchy as shit.
And it looks like Taka made it over the gorge. So that trick he did, he used Epona to get over the fence, similar to what Adam did, and Torp and Fino and Ace to when they did Rupee Roll. Just Taka used Epona instead, and that allows him to get over the gorge, and he's able to do an LJA. There's a Midna trigger where Midna tells you, oh, go back and get the wagon, but we can just do an LJA over it.
Yep.
And I don't know if anyone else is doing Zora armor, but if anyone is, then hopefully we can switch into them a little bit earlier and maybe see the first part of the escort.
I'm pretty sure nobody is. Simikins actually is past it already. Nimzo's not doing it. Jacquade is not doing it.
Yeah.
We can check the others. So let's see. Let's switch out Torp and Fino for now. Now that Torp just finished. Oh no, he actually died!
Oh no, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's really, really bad. That's really unfortunate. So I believe it loses a couple minutes to fail Morpheal. And unfortunately, he's also going to have a couple less bombs, which means that he'll have to use the ball and chain for a couple of strats.
Yeah. So we just swapped in Case Master and Simikins. Both already did Seed. So both already raced yesterday and got a final time. So their time today is not really important. I'm still showing them. Just for the reason that Simikins is actually doing Bite Route, which is interesting. And for the reason that Case Master is actually currently ahead of everybody else in this race. And roughly 30 seconds or 40 seconds ahead of Adam. So we're actually showing him. He's just one room further. So good reason to show him. Slowly, welcome back.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, something urgent kind of came up, so I had to go do that.
No problem. So, yeah, Adam and Case are doing Midna's Desperate Hour right now. There isn't really anything that happens. It's just pretty much vanilla, with a couple small time saves here and there. But for the most part, it is it's just a normal Midna's Desperate Hour.
Yes. Normally, at Simi, you would do an LGA to skip this fight. I don't know if it was intentional or if he just walked into it. But he did the Shadow Beats fight.
Alright. Yes. More feels also like sort of the halfway point. So it seems like a lot of these runners are pretty much halfway through the run. About another hour and a half to go. So there, Adam, as the bridge was falling down, he was able to just barely make it, and jump across to the rooftops.
Yeah, on case screen, he's currently getting the ending blow because we skipped getting it in the start of the game.
Yeah, so this is where some things change a little bit, because like what Taka did before, Taka got it at the start, and this is where the other runners are getting it.
And Nimso just quit, forfeited the race. Sadly.
That's unfortunate. But I guess he finished a run yesterday, so he still has a time for seeding. So after you get the ending blow, it will always put you right in Farron. And so the reason that these runners get it right after Minas Desperate Hour is because we have to warp away anyways to Lake Hylia. So it's fastest to just get it there, because we can just warp away instantly, so it doesn't really matter where it puts us. And you may also notice that Case is playing in German, and well, he is German, so he has a German copy, but it's also because if you are getting a bomb bag, German is actually the fastest language, because we save some time with certain text boxes, and most notably the text box for when the Goron gives you the bomb bag. It's a lot faster in German.
So yeah, right now there's not really much going on. We're just trying to get to Gerudo Desert.
Yeah, so we have to, we don't have to beat all of the dungeons, but the few that we do have to, there are a couple that we have to beat. So we don't have to beat Forest Temple or Goron Mines, but we do have to beat Lake Bed. We don't have to beat Snow Peak, which is why we just get the ball and chain and then leave. And we also don't have to beat Temple of Time, but we do have to beat Arbiters and City in the Sky, and then Palace of Twilight, and of course the final dungeon. And we have to beat Arbiters because that's like, it's the only way to get to Palace. Yeah.
Oh, and Torp just quit as well?
That's unfortunate. So I guess proceeding, we will have to go off of his PB. And you may notice that Case and Adam have pointed the camera downwards, and that's just because it reduces lag. It reduces lag, so it just saves a little bit of time.
And yeah, what Case just did there, for some reason, there's this very small gap between the fences. And as Wolf, you can just barely squeeze through them. Yeah, it saves a little bit of time.
I believe it's possible as human as well, but it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more precise. So, Simikins. Simikins messed up the setup as well. But you can see that he is currently doing the boss key skip setup, the bridge clip setup, which unfortunately Adam wasn't able to get. And I guess if you'd like to explain what Adi just did.
So yeah, Case just did a map glitch again, and falls out of bounds to enter the trigger for King Boblin 3, I guess.
Yeah, so basically by doing map glitch, like we explained before, it removes all the loading zones, and that includes the void out loading zone. So what they can do is sort of go around the side, and instead of going through the base and getting the key and unlocking the fence and whatever, they can just hit the trigger from below, and it just spawns us right in the fight.
Yeah, the trigger goes endlessly upwards and downwards, so...
Yeah, and there's a slightly different strat that's done in HD, where we use we exploit the same thing, that the trigger goes up and down, and we get on top of it, on top of the little hut instead. And as you can see, Simikins doing the fight with Zora armor, it's much easier and much safer. And you don't really have to worry about Morpheal RNG, and you can just kind of swim to Morpheal and do the fight normally.
The Taka falling through.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. So Taka fell down, and unfortunately, he can't do the same thing that Adam did before, where he clipped out of bounds, because Taka never got bombs. Instead, he got Zora armor. So he has to go around and do the bridge clip setup. So, Case coming up right here is going to do a glitch called post skip, where basically, instead of defeating the first Poe and getting the scent there, which takes a while, he's actually just going to do this jump up here, and completely skip the first Poe, which saves some time, not only from not having to kill the Poe, but also we're going to go through the dungeon sort of backwards, and doing that is also going to save us some time from doing that as well.
Yeah, the reason why that works is because you need to get a scent to be able to proceed in the dungeon. So Nintendo thought that you have to kill the first Poe, because otherwise you're not getting through the dungeon.
Yeah, and fortunately for us, they made it so you can get the scent from any of the Poes. So it works out that we can skip the first one. Gate skip one. It is actually possible to skip the gate, but it takes like 13 hours, so unfortunately it is not fast. And we have to actually get the pose. X Chow. A seeding race is so basically we're doing a race so we can see how people will do in a race rather than just going off of their PBs. And we do this to build the bracket in such a way to make the tournament more interesting and better in general.
Alright, fellas, so I guess for now we swap off Syndicates and Case again. Just because they are not really participating in this seeding race if you want. So I guess we go back to some two that we have not seen for a while, to Pitske and to Truly Nan. So let's check how they are doing.
All
So
right.
yeah, here we go.
Okay, so Truly Nan is currently trying to finish up Mario Twilight.
And Pitska is heading off to Snow Peak.
And it kind of looks like Truly actually completed Forest Temple. Because he has 4 hearts, and there's only one dungeon that he's been to that he can possibly finish.
Yeah. So I guess he beat Forest Temple, which means that he can warp the bridge to the gorge, and whatever route he's doing, he will not have to do any sort of crazy skip over it. He'll just be able to go right over it. Which, like we explained before, is much, much, much easier, but it definitely loses quite a bit of time. So it's not really worth it to go for generally.
Yeah, Pitske about to enter Snow Peak. Hopefully he'll manage to do well there. He's not full heart, so it's not full HP. So hopefully he won't die.
Right, so now Adam has gotten 2 of the pose. And this is sort of where he begins to go through the dungeon backwards. So he has to get to the 3rd Poe, but it's a lot slower to go through the normal way. So he is going to go up here. So he pushed the block before, and he can use that to get up to the second level over here. And across is a door that looks like a normal door, but there's actually a key lock on the other side, and he's going to open the lock backwards and use the key that he got from the room before. And the Redeads here will not actually attack you unless either you go in front of them or attack them. So the one that's off to the side that he didn't attack, he's not even gonna worry about.
He's just chilling there.
Yeah. But he's just waiting for you to come around the normal way, but we're never gonna do that.
Ooh, Pisky's struggling with flip through here, and he has to intentionally die because he didn't have the amount of hearts he needed to do it again.
Hey, Torp. What just happened with Taka? He like jumped up onto the ledge. I don't know, a little weird. Alright, so now that Adam has gotten all four, or I guess 3 of the pose, the game just thinks that if you got all the other 3 that you must have gotten the first one. And so he can, once he gets the last 3, it just lets him get through the door. And right there he did a sort of clip past the pillar, and as Wolf, you can sort of just walk across the sand with B attacks. And so he can just use that to go around and get the boss key early. And once again, he's sort of going through the dungeon backwards here. And he's going to get to the mini boss backwards as well.
So Adam is pretty far ahead because he has been playing the best out of the people are racing right now. At least the people who are doing the seating races. Audie's also racing that, and he's technically ahead of Adam.
But he already did the seating race yesterday, so his time today won't count.
Yeah.
Which is a little unfortunate because he didn't have the best of runs yesterday, and today it seems like it's going much better for him, so.
And right now, Optimus Prime Mini has defeated. Pisky's having a little bit of trouble with Dark Hammer.
Oh, and it looks like, it looked like Adam was going to, oh, well, I guess he is. Adam is going to go for a trick called Death Sword Skip. I believe? Or, I guess not. Yeah, he wanted to go for it, but he got sort of bad luck, which is a little unfortunate. It's a pretty cool trick. And he basically uses Death Sword to get up over the wall and get to the spinner without killing him. And I will be right back. I'm going to head to the restroom real quick.
All right. So yeah, after getting the spinner, Adam will just save and quit to spawn back at the start of the dungeon, because it's a little bit faster to just spawn back there. And he will be going towards Star-Lord, who's a big bully, and yeah, it's actually a big bully because there's a lot of RNG that can prevent you from hitting him. And yeah, truly did the Shadow Beast fight, so there's no snowstorm on his side, so you can clearly see where he's going compared to most of the other runners.
So, I actually suggest that we go for another swap. We had Tucker for a while, and Pitska and Truly are quite far behind, so... I guess we go back to Pheno, to Ace, and to Jack Quaid, I guess. All of them
Yeah,
we didn't have for a while, so...
Sounds good.
Here we are. Time for some more cropping, though. Actually, I got so annoyed by the constant need to crop in this race that I already started working on a new system for this that allows me to just not have to do it.
Well, that's good, at least.
Like, this is kinda one of the few things that's annoying, so yeah, it's gonna change. Torb sadly forfeit, by the way, because he died to Morphin 3 times, and yeah, he's now in chat. Hey Torb! Press crop. No.
So yeah, Adam's starting up on Star-Lord here. There's some RNG into him because these skeleton things pop out from the sand, and we'll try to block your way.
All right, I'm back. Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you. All right. So, looks like Adam had a pretty good Stallard fight. All right. So,
So yeah, coming up on Adam's screen here, he is going to do the second phase of Star-Lord. Thankfully, there is a faster way to knock him down. We'll literally call it early knockdown. So yeah, if you pull out the spinner at the correct time there, you'll kind of catch up to Star-Lord and can knock him down at the start.
yeah, and we can just do quick spins to kill him in one cycle, which is very, very good because the more cycles that you do, the more like blades will appear on the walls, and that just makes it really, really annoying to get all the way up and knock him down. So It's really, really nice that we can just knock him down quickly and then one cycle him. And it saves a good bit of time.
Oh, that is very interesting. What just happened on Ace's screen? I've personally never seen that before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, wait, what? That's so weird. Huh. Well, I guess we'll have to figure out what that is. Locking into a skeleton? That's interesting. Alright, so what Adam just did is, so he killed the shadow beasts, and normally the game forces you to raise the mirror before warping away if you try to just warp normally, or even with the map. Midna will just say, no, the Mirror of Twilight, it's so close. But for whatever reason, by zooming in the map completely, Midna will just not say anything, and you can just warp away, and we don't have to worry about raising the mirror. And coming up right here is one of the biggest sequence breaks in Twilight Princess, if not the biggest sequence break. And so Adam, if you transform right next to that statue, you can actually clip inside and just dash onto the other side, and we can get the cannon and warp it away using the same trick we use to warp away from the mirror. And we can skip not only Snow Peak and Temple of Time. And so coming up here, this is why the runners have been collecting rupees from like Snow Peak and with the Redeads in Arbiters, because like I mentioned earlier, we need 300 rupees to fix the cannon to get to City in the Sky.
Yeah, both feet on Ace getting done with Arbiter's Grounds as Jack just got a spinner. Meanwhile, Adam's just about to enter Sin the Sky.
Yeah, so City in the Sky is actually there's just so many tricks, and I mean, not really that many tricks, but just a lot of cool movement throughout the whole dungeon. That makes it quite enjoyable to both do and watch, I would say.
So yeah, Ace and Fino doing the same clip as Adam did.
Yep. So, right in the first room of the dungeon, we just do, instead of using the claw shot, which is really, really slow, we just use the boomerang and do a bunch of LJAs. Since there's a ton of void in City in the Sky. So, that lets us just jump around quite a bit.
And right here, Adam transformed into wolf, pretty far away from the door. The reason for this is there's a trigger for the fan in this room. But if you transform into wolf and open the door as far away as possible, you'll actually not trigger this fan trigger, which lets us get the boss key earlier when we have the double claw shot.
Yeah, normally there's like a bunch of rooms that you have to go through, and it just takes like a couple minutes, and it's just really slow. So.
Sorry guys, we'll need another quick refresh, because for whatever reason, the others just have some high delays going on, especially Ace. He's just not really staying stable. Seems to have some frame rate issues, so I'll actually do a trick here that should hopefully work. And apparently it doesn't really work. Which... So we'll just swap in Case Master for now. He can actually... he's close to Adam, so it's interesting to see that.
So yeah, on Adam's screen just a couple seconds ago, he jumped over a cutscene trigger. So he skipped a cutscene. Save a couple, like, what is it, 40 seconds-ish?
It saves quite a bit of time just from skipping the cutscene. I'm not sure exactly how much it saves, but it also saves time because later when we save warp, because we never hit the cutscene trigger, our spawn point stays set at the small key, which is a little bit faster than coming from the start of the dungeon, so that's also very nice. Hopefully we'll get to see it again on when Ace does it.
So yeah, if you somehow manage to watch a HD run but not an SD run, in HD there's an HD exclusive glitch here that lets us skip these rooms that Adam and Case are doing right now.
Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Just a little bit of a time loss, though. So, Adi just did something where he uses the Uku to let him float over to the little ledge, and instead of doing the puzzle normally in that room, he can just go to the other side, which saves some time.
So yeah, coming up on Case's screen as Aerophos. Well, we kind of don't like him, so we're just gonna skip him. And this skip is really precise. I think it's 3 pixels where you can grab onto the target.
Yeah, so unfortunately he missed it, but that's okay because he can try again. When you void out, it puts your spawn right back in the same place as it was when you first entered the fight. So that's really fortunate for us because we can just try again.
Yeah, if you looked at Ace's screen, you saw him do the cutscene skip
Yeah.
that we talked about earlier.
And there you can see Jaquaid just did the same sequence break again, clipped into the statue, and can now warp away the cannon.
And Kay's finally getting the aerofoil skip.
And hopefully Ace will also get it. Or Adam, sorry. Looks like Adam gets it first try, which is very, very good.
Catching up to Case a little bit.
Yeah. Which definitely saves a good bit of time. And like we said, it's a very precise trick. There's only how many pixels? It's like 3, you said?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Yeah, so that's really good. It can be very difficult sometimes, depending on your controller, to do those really, really precise small movements to find the pixels.
Yeah. And you might notice that this time they're not doing the cutscene skip, because the cutscene is only triggered once, and that's when you get the small key. So
Yeah, the cutscene, the trigger actually, I believe it goes away as soon as you open the door with the key. Like as soon as you use the key, then it goes away. If I recall correctly. So yeah, they don't have to worry about it again. And something else, the trigger that makes the fan that they were able to just claw shot past, like what Adam's about to do right here. The fan isn't triggered there. The trigger that turns the fan on is actually still there. It never goes away unless you trigger it. So it's fortunate that the small key that we don't get spawned at the start of the dungeon, because we would also have to do that skip again. So yeah, Adam and Case are just did some LJs, and they were able to get the boss key. So Case is gonna do something a little weird. Just claw shotting at the top of the fans will actually let you get on top of them. And then we can do some LJs to skip the rest of them, which is because it's pretty slow to turn on the fan that makes those spin. So it's nice that we can skip that.
I give up. Trying to sync Ace today is basically impossible. I have no idea why, but his stream keeps like going back and forth between 25 and 40 seconds delay. Like on our side, which is like between 4 and 12 seconds normally, and it keeps messing up our players. It's just not fun. Yesterday we had no issues whatsoever. Today it's just impossible. So yeah, sorry Ace, you lost. I'm dropping you out again. Getting Simikins for now, because we have not seen him in a while, so...
Alright, so coming up here, we have Argrok, which is the boss of City in the Sky. Alright.
Ring, 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 banana phone.
So yeah, this is Argarok, and this is kind of the most boring boss in this game, in my opinion. There's not really much we can do to make it go faster. So it's kind of a waiting simulator. But we can make first phase a little bit faster at least. So after making Argarok fall down once, we can quickly grab onto the pillar again and grab onto it to skip having Argarok fly away again and have to wait for him.
I'm so sorry about that. I have a landline in my house, and there's a phone in my room, but I just unplugged it, so hopefully we won't have to worry about that again.
Alright, so here Case is gonna void out because after this cutscene, Argark fights away, but if you void out, he'll just automatically go back to the center. So it takes a little bit of time to just void out. And here he's gonna cancel out Argark's flame faster. And
Yeah,
he
so-
does that by equipping iron boots. And I don't know anything else.
Yeah, basically, just when you equip the iron boots and sink down, if you sink down to a certain height, Argarok thinks that you fell, and so he stops blowing the flames. Which means we can just go behind him and fall shot onto his back. And so he's going to do it again, just the same thing.
And once again, we get to see the clip through the statue in Kakariko. Alright, so in the last one, Ragnarok changes his cycle midway through, so we do a different setup to cancel out the flame. Oh, Jackwood just barely missing that edge grab.
Unfortunate. And you can actually do the puzzle if that happens, but I do believe it's a little bit faster to just retry it. You can just use Uku to get back over to the other side again and try the jump again.
There we go.
So, case only has 4 hearts instead of 5 or 6 because you only need to get 4 hearts. I'm not sure if you can have 3. Maybe if you get a heart after voiding out. But it's faster to just get the heart container. So right here, he is going to do a trick so he puts on the iron boots, and if he does a jump slash as soon as he possibly can, he'll actually land on the bridge instead of in the water, and he doesn't have to swim out before warping away. And if you get the other hearts, it's just for safety. It doesn't really lose a lot of time to get them, only like a couple of seconds. Most people get them. And Jaquaid getting Eralfo skip just barely before getting attacked. So that's really, really nice. Alright, so normally you would have to get all of the pieces of the mirror, but the game actually only checks for the last one, which is the one from the city in the sky. And so that's why that's the only dungeon we have to beat. And we can just walk forward and there's a cutscene trigger, and so we never even have to raise the mirror ourselves. It just happens. So Palace of Twilight is pretty standard. Not much really happens. There are a couple time saves here and there, and I guess we'll get to those.
Yeah, there's really not much you can do to make this place go faster. They're just small optimization of the movement.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do actually have to get the upgraded Master Sword. So there is a waterfall of the black mist, and it is possible technically to LJA through it and get to the other side, but there's a big invisible wall that blocks you until you get the light sword, so unfortunately we can't. So in the Phantom Zant fight, it's actually possible to kill him in 3 cycles. So you'll notice that he's not teleporting around the room randomly, and that's because he doesn't actually start doing that until you attack him a certain amount. And so we can do specific amounts of damage with a stab and 2 quick spins for the first 2 cycles, and just do 3 on the last cycle to finish him off and prevent him from teleporting around randomly, so we can just go up and kill him. Yeah, and most people opt to grab the extra heart containers in Lake Bed and Arbiters because of this dungeon. It's just, you can take so much damage from so many things, and so it's just nice to have some extra health to make sure you don't die. So right there, what Case tried to do is there's a trigger that makes the shadow vermin fall down, and you can actually do an L slide past it. So an L slide is just when you're claw shotting, you can input a direction and then hold L, and you'll do a slide. Hence the name L slide. And you can actually do an L slide past the trigger to make the shadow vermin fall, which I believe it saves a little bit of time, and it's also a little bit safer because you don't have to worry about them attacking you.
So yeah, right now Odd is really low on health. And he is gonna die if he gets hit by anything right now.
Yeah, I don't think anything does a quarter of a heart, so he's gonna have to be really careful. You might be able to grab some hearts in this room from the keys, or maybe in the next room from some enemies. Dying here loses quite a bit of time, so... I mean, dying anywhere, really. Fortunately, in Twilight Princess, dying isn't that terrible. Although, it is really slow, but unlike some other games, it just spawns you in the room that you died in. So, there's not too much of a penalty. Okay, so there, he picked up a heart. That's good. So he doesn't have to really worry about dying anymore. Ooh, missed the Spidey shot. So you can actually claw shot those targets without going, and it looks really cool. Fortunately, Simikin's missing Air Alpha skip. Oh, I guess he's just gonna wing the position. Well, not anymore. It is possible to just kind of walk around and find the position, but it's obviously quite a bit harder. So there's Case doing the same strategy as before with the stab and the quick spins to kill Phantom Zant in 3 cycles.
And Simi getting the arrow fall skip.
Chat, commentary's asleep.
Yeah, unfortunately,
late, okay.
Palace is kind of bland.
What are you talking about? It's amazing. There's so much movement optimization going on.
Yeah, they jump with a ball over their head.
Yeah. Isn't it beautiful?
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Also, let's try to do another switch. So we'll keep Case Master on because he's just an elite. So Simmikins, I'm sorry, buddy, but we'll bring Fino in, and Jack, I'm sorry, but we'll bring Taka in. Yay! Let's do it.
Alright, sounds good. Alright, so Fino is a little bit behind Adam, but still doing really well. Not too far.
Definitely not too far. And
And it looks like Taka is going to finish up City in the Sky.
so I believe Taka and Simi are balancing place right now.
Yeah. Pretty close. So now that Case and Adam have gotten the light sword, they can move on to the second part of the dungeon. And yeah.
Yeah.
In this
and-
half of the dungeon, there are some kind of cool movement optimizations. There's some LJAs in a couple places, so that's really neat. Like
Yep.
right here, this LJA just saves like a second. And we can do this trick where immediately after lighting up all the orbs with the Master Sword.
Orb!
Why?
Oh my God. Orb! Alright. So immediately after spin attack, we can do a jump attack off of it, and the platform will stay lit up for when we come back. Oh my God. Orb! Don't forget honk, guys.
Honk. Actually, oh
Honk.
god. While we talk about Palace of Twilight, which nobody cares about anyways, actually, I went to work the day after I came home from HDQ, so on Tuesday. After HDQ, and I came into the office, and no shit, my colleague that actually knew that I was at HDQ greeted me with like holding his phone up in the air and a 20-second loop of honk, 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 and I almost died laughing.
Oh my God.
That was amazing.
Holy shit. That guy trolled me so hard. Although, to be fair, while the honk meme was stupid and absolutely awful during the entirety of HDQ, during the run itself, the atmosphere in the room was actually fantastic. Like, people were actually genuinely celebrating the run and the runner. It was just amazing.
Yeah, Jim's run was really amazing.
Yeah, but that was like a different kind of hype in the room. Like,
Yeah.
during the honk, Untitled Goose Game run, actually, for one, the room was absolutely packed. There was like, I would
Oh
say,
yeah, I
like
guess.
1,000 people in there. And second, or like maybe not 1,000, but like at least 600. And second, the people, everybody was just celebrating it like crazy. Oh, and Adam actually, what did he die to?
I have no idea.
Oh, he actually, he was low on hearts after getting the boss key, so he wanted to take the scenic route where he actually dropped down to the platform. Then he got actually hit by one of the birds and then died from fall damage. So that was really unfortunate. It's not that big a deal because he actually got the boss key, but it's still bad. That was like a 10-second or 15-second time loss, I want to say.
Alright, so in this room that Adam just entered, there's a platform cycle that is going through the room the entire time. So at the start, he talks to Midna, which will, for the moment, pause the platform cycle. And then he will try to get up as fast as he can to this platform to make the cycle. The case is just killing some shadow beasts here. There's not really much going on there. And Adam got the early cycle, which is no surprise.
And now we have the Zant fight, which is honestly one of the coolest fights in the game, I would say, but it's really unfortunate that we have to go all the way to Snow Peak for the ball and chain just for this one fight. So there are 5 phases, I believe. And these runners do not have the Zora armor, which is one of the reasons that we need the permanent bomb bag, which we'll see in the 3rd phase.
Also, Fino just missed the stupidest LGA in the game, and sorry Fino, take it, because he actually tried to save a second and he got punished for it and lost 27 seconds, so yeah. This LGA just is awful, and it will always be awful.
I agree.
I remember that Rodna once lost sub 3 to missing that LGA back in the day.
Yikes.
That is really unfortunate. Alright, so in the Goron Mines phase, hopefully we will get to see a 1 cycle. Unfortunate.
Just barely missing it.
So yeah, it's possible to sort of stunlock Zant. If you catch him right before he warps away, it is possible to just keep him there and keep attacking him and kill him in 1 cycle. Yeah, so right here, this is why we this is why they need to get a permanent bomb bag, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be able to survive through this phase of the fight.
Leave Zaylu alone.
But HD!
No!
HD!
This will actually come down to Zelda between Case and Adam. And no, Tylox, I'm not biased to SD, not at all actually, but I'm biased to Zelu.
Oh.
I am totally biased to SD.
I'm biased to HD. One of the two runners run the correct
I'm sorry,
version.
I like my speed games with a challenge.
I can't really argue with that. I don't know what to say.
I guess Lillicry likes his games with no RNG,
Well,
but
technically there's more RNG in HD.
There's more RNG?
Well, we do 2 goats, so yeah.
You know what? That is fair. That's a good point.
This is...
Uh,
yeah, this...
well, they're actually playing on the GameCube version, but I guess if they want, they can use a Wii.
I don't think we actually talked about Sant, did we? About his health and then like combos.
No, I don't believe we did. So, you want to talk about it?
No, you can do it.
Alright, sure. So, Zant's health works kind of weirdly. Most of the time, it really only matters that you get the last hit of a combo in. And particularly for the last phase, it's very important that we only hit him with the final stab of the combo, because hitting him with any other hits will just cause him to start teleporting around randomly, and it'll make everything sort of weird. So by spacing out our slashes, we can just hit him with the final stabs. And for some of the other phases, you might have seen, like in the first phase, Zant was bouncing towards the ground over the poison water, because it really only matters that we hit with the last hit, so we can save a little time with that. So, coming up here, I guess Case is going to do Man skip, and right after we have the Squidna cutscene, which is... it's a very long cutscene. It's usually where people take bathroom breaks. And while it would be faster to be able to skip it, at least I can appreciate that we have one bathroom break in the entire run. And it's like right at the end, so it can be a little annoying sometimes, but yeah. So yeah, and Adam is also coming up on it. And once again, we can see with Fino, and you might have seen with Ace, they both also used the water bombs to refill their air, because they did not get the Zora armor. And actually, I forgot to mention, so in the Lakebed Temple phase, Zant will always spawn in the head that is farthest away from you. so we can sort of manipulate that and know exactly where he's going to spawn.
Athena getting unlucky with the swings there. And Audie's through the cutscene.
Yep. So there are some pretty interesting strats with the bombs. So right here, I imagine he will just do the stand still and do nothing strat, where you just pull out a bomb and then they all die. What skill? Amazing.
Insane. Only the top runners
Only the
can
top
get
runners
that.
can pull off tricks like that.
Yeah. And yeah, these barriers, they're supposed to come up. You can actually skip their cutscenes of them showing up. So if you skip them fast enough, you get control over Link before the barrier has actually spawned in. So on that one, you can just kind of roll away from it and just completely skip it. Yeah, Adam's doing the exact same strat as Audie did.
And right there, Case did a very specific strat, just knowing how many quick spins to do and whatnot to just kill King Baldwin in the shortest amount of time. So now Ace is watching the Squid in a cutscene. And it's actually possible to skip that text that with Midna right there, that Case just went through. And I believe it saves like 3 seconds to skip it. There's one frame where you can do a backflip, and then while you're in midair, you can save warp. And in most places in the game, it's faster to choose the right door, because the animation when leaving is slightly faster. But in Hyrule Castle, it actually doesn't matter which door you go through. It's the same time for either.
And yeah, Case got trolled there by the sword. He threw it away, but he still got like knocked down from it or took damage. And Ace is entering the castle now. And Adam is just one room behind Audie.
So there's just the lantern puzzle there, and it's always the same, so...
Alright, so here we're gonna actually see them kill Narrowfrost. Let's skip the first one. We didn't get to see the strat, but the ball and chain quickly melts Narrowfrost.
Also, Trez, look. Look, he has one bomb left.
Who has one bomb left?
That's what I was saying.
Who has one bomb left?
Case.
Maybe he didn't do the bomb strat for the Star Force and Arbutus.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Alright. I'll tell. You know what? That is a fair point.
Ha! Take that!
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you're still left with...
Look, you have 10 bombs. You have 10 bombs. You use 2 for...
2 for Morpheal.
Morpheal. 2 for Water Zen. That's 4.
1
5
for post-skip.
1 for post... 2 for post-skip, actually.
Why
2
2?
for post-skip. Because you throw 2. 1 left, 1 right.
Oh.
That's 6. Then 7 is the Star Force. And what am I missing? Where do you need bombs?
And
8
2
in
for...
Hyrule Castle for the first barrier.
And then two more in
And 2
Arbiter
more for the Star
Stalfos.
Force. For the Star Force, yeah. 2 on post-skip is
Okay.
Shut up, Ollie.
I usually...
Don't break my argument. Come on.
See, that I was gonna say, yeah, I usually only throw... I only throw 1 on post-skip.
Dang it, you all suck. I hate you.
Yeah, nobody does 2 on post-skip.
You all blow. I hate you.
You just throw 1 in the middle, and then they both get hit.
Or they'll just
both jump
never
at
get
it.
hit, and you just need to clash at them and kill them.
Yeah, or they never get hit. That is also an option. But
Just use
one
one
left
of
and
them
one
for
right.
beast cannons, so...
But I always did the ball and chain strat for the Stalfos in for the one right after post skip, because I mean I never really had a specific reason, but like I would always do the equip for ball and chain before, so I would always end with 2. That's why I was saying 2. But I guess 1. I guess you could end with 0 if you are a scrub and you throw 2 on post skip.
Alright, so Ollie's entering the last R&D part, I guess, of this game. Which
Yeah,
is
so
Zelda.
best is 7 cycle, average is 9 cycle, I would say. So hopefully this goes well. Already off to a bad start, looks like. Ooh, that's unfortunate. So, normally you want Zelda to start with a, orb. So.
No, why?
Yeah, but so Case got kind of unlucky.
Adam getting one lightning bolt. Okay, he's just getting his second one.
Yeah, so Adam could actually pull ahead right at the end here if Case gets really bad luck.
Audie's basically one attack ahead of Adam right now. One or two. Ooh. And a lightning ball.
Alright.
So, if Adam gets a lightning ball here, then this might be a very close race.
Yeah, looks like it will be. So there's actually a strat you can do on Beast Ganon where if you attack him in a very specific way, then you can deal the maximum amount of damage, and he will once he gets to the third time that he charges at you, he'll just show up in one portal, and you won't have to look around the room randomly. So it works out pretty nicely. And then for the final hit, we can just do a normal Wolf B attack, like a dash attack, and that'll just finish him off. So yeah, there you can see he just appears in one portal. We can just throw him to the side and then do one attack, and he's dead. And same on Adam's screen. So for the horseback fight, there are actually a bunch of different ways that Ganon can move. It just sort of depends on. There's a little bit of RNG to it, but for the most part, it depends on like where you move at the start. And there are a couple different strategies for what you can do.
Adam also missing once.
And for the final phase of the fight, it can actually be done in about 15 seconds if done perfectly. Because I don't really know why it works, but I guess the way his health works is just kind of weird. The way it knocks him back. And we'll get to see it right here. And as you can see right there, and that'll be Ace's time with 3 hours and 11 seconds. Yeah. So
GG.
very, very nice run from what we saw of it. And same to Adam with 3:29, 3 hours 29 seconds. So yeah, once again, really, really, really nice run. From both of them. So yeah, those times will be very, very good for seeding. And let's hope we see them perform this well in the actual tournament as well.
Yeah. And
So we have Ace finishing up the Beast Cannon fight, Vino finishing up Zelda. So they will also be done in just a little bit.
what is actually Pheno's PB right now?
I'm not sure. I believe he PB'd very recently. It used to be 305 something, but I'm not sure if it's better. I believe it is slightly better than that. If Eno's PB is a 305, then that's really, really amazing because he's played so close to his PB.
Yeah, he's really, real close then.
So
Oh, I was about to ask, did Taka quit? But there he is. Okay, very good. So we actually swapped in Taka and Jackrae and can keep moving.
all right, so Ace is heading into the final fight here, and we'll be finishing up shortly. Ooh, unfortunately messed up a little bit, but it's okay. And there's
3:03:35.
Ace.
GG. Oh, Fina got knocked down there. It's
Ooh,
really unfortunate.
yeah. If you mess up the movement at all, he can just kind of hit you off Epona, and it can be quite annoying. Yeah, Fino's missing his PB by such a small amount, which is really, 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 really crazy. Yeah, it's really awesome that he was able to play so close to his PB. So yeah. Ooh, unfortunate. And that's a 305, 46 from Fino. So yeah, that's it for Fino. Once again, really nice run. Really awesome that he was able to play so close to his PB. And now we get to see from Pitsky. Still in City. So quite a ways to go, but hopefully he can finish strong.
Simi entering this Squidna cutscene as Tak is leading it.
And Jaquaid is quite a bit through Hyrule Castle. It's really nice that he was able to still do so well even after such an unfortunate start. But it seems like he's really pulled it back quite a bit. And if all goes well, he should finish with a sub 315.
And Tak is doing a... He's
Taka
trying to
is doing a strat to skip the barrier, it looks like, because Taka doesn't have bombs. And there he go. There we go. He got the trick. So that skips the barrier. I believe there is a strat with the ball and chain that is a little faster than skipping it. But I guess you can also just go around. Looks like Pitsky missed the fast cycle strat on Argarok, but that's okay.
And Jackwit is entering Selva. And got a first attack as an orb.
And second attack is a dash, which is very good. The fastest dash is much faster than the Triforce on the ground. So what you want is like orb, dash, orb, 2 dashes. Or wait. 3 dashes and then orb, sorry.
Yep. Then because RNG isn't enough that way, there's also like the swinging that Sala does she can swing a longer or a short amount of time in between attacks as well.
Yeah, so Zelda is very annoying and can definitely steal some runs from people, which is unfortunate. But it seems like Jacquade is getting pretty good RNG so far. So yeah. And next is the Beast Cannon. So yeah, just the last couple phases of Ganondorf. Doing the same strat as the others to kill him in the fastest way possible. So looks like Pitska finally finished City, and can now move on to getting the Master Sword in Palace, the upgraded Master Sword.
Yeah, Taka's getting trolled by those bosses.
Yeah, so Taka actually doesn't have bombs, so he has to do a slightly different strat on the Dinalphos. Yeah. Yeah, and Jacquade as well. If he hadn't messed up back in time in the beginning so much, also played pretty close to his PB. So yeah, overall played really well.
Oh. Simi actually just clipped me out of bounds there.
Huh. I've never seen that before.
That's interesting. I guess the pots push him out of bounds?
I have no idea. And there's Jacquade
And GG.
with a time of 3:13:53. All right, so now we have Trillian coming in.
I can't wait for Sky Cannon repair. That's gonna be my break.
Still in Arbiters, which is a little unfortunate, quite far behind, but this race isn't really about winning. It's just for placing in the bracket,
Oh,
just for seating. So
I backed up because I was pretty sure I was.
hopefully we can see a lot more
Yeah. Oh,
from
yeah,
Truly Nan
nice, dude.
during the actual tournament.
I didn't want to be facing away. I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
Eternal glory. Sure, I guess Case gets eternal glory.
Had that too.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Oh, the whole entire thing. Same thing. Eternal glory.
Even more eternal glory.
Even more eternal glory.
You can never get enough, right?
Nope. Never get enough.
Oh, Taka falling down there.
Twitch bugs.
Semi getting the big key. Gonna head towards the Zelda fight now. As Taka just started it. Hopefully
so-
Taka won't get too trolled by Zelda.
Yeah, there's about a 2-minute gap between them at this point. Alright, Simikin's finally making his way into the boss room. And we'll be taking on Zelda shortly.
Truly actually missing the one cycle. Stallard. Really
So-
unfortunate.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, as you can see, all of the blade traps are just spawning all over the walls, and it just gets really, really annoying to get all the way back up to the top. The backwards running is just style, yeah. Alright, looks like Taka's doing pretty well with scanning fight. finish off one more hit.
Oh, Pisky falling down there. Unfortunate. This is one of the hardest rooms in the game, though.
Yeah, getting across the platforms is just very difficult without a lot of practice, especially with once you have the soul. It can be even more difficult and uses quite a bit of time to fall down.
Yeah, looks like Sim is just barely gonna miss his PB as well.
Yeah, though Simikins as well, playing very close to his PB. I believe his PB is about a 324 or something. So
Yeah, it's a 324.50.
and here we have Taka finishing off with a 322.30. Oh, 322.15.
So I kind of want to give a quick heads up. Since Truly and Pitske will still both take quite a while, and we have something else queued up for the channel, we'll actually cut the stream after Simikins is done, and then collect Truly's and Pitske's results later. Both of them did obviously a fantastic job at finishing, and I'm pretty sure both of them will finish, but I mean it will still take them like at least another 30 minutes. Especially for Truly Nan, who will probably take over an hour. So, yeah, after Simikins is done, we'll slowly cut out and move on. And then I will hopefully post the seeding later when they are done.
Alright, sounds good. So Simikins finishing up the horseback.
Right. Yeah, so it's gonna be like less than 30 seconds behind his PB or something like that, so... Definitely not a bad run for him. Though I am sure he will probably improve his PB very soon. Is there a link to results? That would be on SRL, I believe. Yep. Thanks, Stress.
And there we go. Simikins done with time of 3:24.42.
So
honestly, such amazing runs from everybody here.
according to Tress's notes he had, that means that Simi PB'd by 8 seconds.
Nice.
So congrats to him. And GG on a good run.
All right. Well, yeah, GG to everybody who did a race. Again, really, really awesome runs from everybody here. And hopefully Trillian and Pitsky will finish their runs, and we'll get to see the results later. But with that, I guess we can hand it off to Trez.
Alrighty, so yeah, fantastic job by everyone involved. As you all can see, Trillian and Pitska are still quite a bit off and will take a while. So we'll host one of them, and I hope you're all gonna have a blast at their stream. I want to thank Loli and Brugels for being here, and for doing the commentary. You guys did amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That I didn't have to do it with my voice being as cracky as it is right now. And yeah, that's it for TP today. We have plenty more stuff coming up, including the Wind Waker randomizer and Ocarina of Time randomizer matches. And there's more to come in the next few days. As you all know, ZSR is really, really busy these days. So I hope you'll be there for another stream. Thanks everyone for watching. And we'll be back.
Bye.